It's 6 o'clock on the dot. Thanks for joining us. I'm Spencer Blake.
I'm Jillian Garrigues. We start this morning with breaking news out of Belgium.
We're continuing to follow what's happening at the Brussels International Airport and a subway station where at least 28 people have been killed by explosions. All of this happened during the busy rush hour commute.
Officials say at least 28.
Just don't do it.
All right, 6:03 right now. And Idaho Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders made his stop in Boise yesterday ahead of today's Democratic caucus. They're expecting a pretty big turnout.
Recent presidential.
All right, let's go ahead and get a check of the forecast this morning to start this half hour. Danny Beckstrom joining us right now.
Crazy day yesterday, right?
Sure to get there early.
And as we mentioned, thousands of people were listening to Bernie Sanders as he came to Boise Monday.
The senator spoke to.
Among the thousands in attendance at Monday's rally were a number of supporters who will be voting for a president for the first time. Sanders has captured the support of many young voters, a lot of them who see him as an outsider candidate. One first-time voter we spoke with says she believes Sanders represents an America that is for everyone, not just the few.
We have a government that...
If you weren't one of the thousands who made it to Taco Bell Arena, maybe you joined 6 on Your Side live online throughout the entire event. Thousands caught our live stream on our website, 6onyourside.com, and thousands more tuned into our Facebook live stream for team coverage and analysis of Bernie Sanders' speech. You can see all our political coverage at our homepage, 6onyourside.com.
The Pacific Northwest, yourside.com.
All right, let's go ahead and check in with Danny Beckstrom right now and see what we can expect. We know so much was happening yesterday, and we wonder, is the rain and is the thunder going to be sticking around?
The rain, yes, and the thunderstorms, maybe. Okay. More so in the mountains, the chance for them than...
Pearl 6:09 right now, and coming up next, the remaining presidential candidates took their turn addressing voters before today's primaries and caucuses in the West. We've got more from the campaign trail after the break.
Plus, President Obama delivered. Welcome back, everyone. It's 6:12. The presidential race pushes forward this week with more primary and caucus contests.
Monday, candidates from both parties appealed once again to voters. CNN's Reed Binion reports in today's World. President Barack Obama joined Cuba's ruler Raul Castro in Havana in the final chapter of this Cold War with the country. The Cuban government has resisted change for half a century, but it is slowly showing some progress. The president delivered a tough message to the Cuban government, asking it to begin respecting basic human freedoms. The conversation was put in the spotlight when Castro wouldn't answer a question on the country's political prisoners. In the past, the Obama administration has given the Castro regime a list of names. It hasn't yet reissued that list this trip. Castro has his own set of grievances, including the U.S. embargo that still stands. Obama assured Castro those restrictions would be removed eventually. It's another sign of some improving relations between the U.S. and Cuba.
In Garrigues.
I'm Spencer Blake. Danny Beckstrom is here with us as well. Good morning, Danny.
Hey, good morning.
You were pretty busy yesterday. I don't know if you were following along in the weather sense, but at least watching what happened yesterday. There was so much in the sky.
To be completely honest with you guys, I haven't told you this yet, but I took NyQuil about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon and I fell asleep.
So you missed everything.
I missed the first thunderstorm. Cool. I didn't know that there were two, Jillian, until you were telling the story of the first thunderstorm. But it's this
big turnout.
Recent presidential contests have shown an increase in Democratic participants here. In 2004, 5,000 people caucused around the state. Now in 2008, that number jumped to more than 21,000, which is closer to the turnout Idaho's Democratic Party expects today. Caucuses will be held in each county starting at 7 p.m. But remember, those doors close at 7, so you will want to arrive early. They're saying about an hour early is what you should plan on. Of course, our big story from Monday was Bernie Sanders' visit to the City of Trees ahead of today's Democratic caucus.
Thousands of Bernie Sanders supporters.
The Pacific Northwest also played host to a member of the Clinton campaign Monday. Former President Bill Clinton appeared in Spokane, stumping for his wife. He spoke at the Spokane Falls Community College and talked about his wife's plan for student debt. And Olympic figure skater Michelle Kwan campaigned for Clinton in Boise last week. You can hear her speech at 6onyourside.com.
Inside the State House, lawmakers are still working on a plan to cover 78,000 Idahoans stuck in the healthcare gap, and it could keep them in session longer than planned.
So far, 2 proposals are being considered behind closed doors. Both of them would take $5 million to fund local medical clinics like Terry Riley for a minimal amount of coverage. Plan A would also create an interim committee to look at future options. Plan B would allow the Department of Health and Welfare to collect federal waivers for expanded coverage.
And that's what you're seeing right now.
Lawmakers think if they are to tackle this issue, it would likely extend the session beyond their original end date of Thursday.
House Majority Leader.
A crash in Boise damaged the newly remodeled artwork on the Grove Hotel Sunday. Police say a driver ran a red light on Front Street, hit a taxi on Capitol, and then careened into that sculpture. The city's Department of Arts and History will handle the repairs. The driver who ran the red light was cited for failing to obey a traffic signal.
At the Broadway Bridge Cam, we have a link for you there.
And those construction workers probably getting pretty wet over the last couple days, slash putting work on hold, I'm guessing, for some of those.
I hope that they went in yesterday afternoon when those thunderstorms moved through. I guess
Still ahead on Good Morning Idaho. After winning the conference championship, it looks like the Boise State gymnastics team is headed to Alabama for the regional tournament. Dan Hawk checks in with the team next in Morning Sports.
And later this